Shalom, brothers and sisters. So let's touch on this quickly. These are just from the last few days with regards to sickness, pandemics, illness, plandemics, and what they're planning with the next big thing. Masks are returning. Quadruple virus surge strikes the United States. Millions of Americans return to work after the holidays, and a quadruple threat of viral infections, including flu, COVID-19, RSV, and norovirus, is sweeping the nation, fueling hospitalizations, mask mandates, and heightened public health concerns. Do you remember when flu was nothing? Flu was just something we said in passing. We didn't even worry about being around people with flu because flu was normal. It was part of every day. Now it's part of the big thing as they drive this whole narrative and fear campaign they're pushing. The WHO determined the cause of the mysterious disease outbreak in Africa. Now, the better way to write this headline, I think, is the WHO is the cause of the mysterious disease outbreak in Africa. Definitely. The World Health Organization discovered the cause of a mysterious disease outbreak in the Congo, seasonal respiratory illness combined with malaria and malnutrition. The agency said infections happen mostly in children, and nearly 50 have died between October and December. Now, it's interesting for me that it's all this new thing that's coming, attacking the respiratory tracts, and they take out the weakest of society, the children, the old, the infirm, those with pre-existing conditions or lung diseases or things like that. They are targeted to be removed because it's always respiratory viruses that are attacking and spreading everywhere. Isn't that interesting as well? China is in a crisis as a viral outbreak overwhelms hospitals and crematoriums nationwide. Hospitals are overrun, crematoriums are strained, citizens are panicking. China is grappling with a state of emergency as multiple respiratory viruses wreak havoc in the country. They declared the state of emergency as the severe outbreak of multiple respiratory viruses, including influenza A, human metapneumovirus, HMPV, mycoplasma, and COVID-19 overwhelms the healthcare systems across the nation. Officials announced the emergency after an alarming surge in cases that experts describe as unprecedented in scope. In densely populated areas like Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, patients are facing hours-long waits for hospital beds. Many are forced to seek care in hallways that are crowded. Videos circulate on social media showing overflowing crematoriums and extended delays for funerary services. Doesn't that sound to you like I'm reading you something from 2020? When they were saying the bodies are lying in the streets, there's massive fires being burnt in China, they can't keep up with the death rates. This sounds exactly the same. But hey, 24 hours later, China downplays mystery virus deaths and claims it's safe to travel. Please come to China. The Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention suggests flu could be behind the soaring admissions and cases. So one of two things: they're admitting they're full of it and it's actually just flu, or they've got the thing ready. Now they need you to travel to China so they can infect as many people as possible and get them out across the world again. Just a thought. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm saying playbook from 2020, we're in 2025. Same game. Different approach, slightly tweaked on the things that they learned from the first campaign. And this thing is building up speed. Why? Because they're out of time. They need to roll this out. They need to lock down people. They need to exercise control so that they can do a complete swap of the whole system. Financial system, world system, control system, peace plan, Middle East plan. All these things need to come into play. And they've got their great deception geared up and ready. They've got the drone confusion happening. They've got wars and rumors of wars and tensions and all sorts of things going on with undersea internet cables being at threat. Everything that you would need to shut down the population, cut them off from information, and exercise absolute control. And we're seeing that happening right now in front of us, which tells you you're that much closer to that blessed hope. God bless. Keep looking up. I am not afraid because I have Jesus Christ. Now, with all of that in mind, isn't it interesting that Revelation 18 verse 23 says, "And the light of a lamp will shine in you no more, and the voice of bridegroom and bride will be heard in you no more. For your merchants were the great ones of the earth, and all nations were deceived by your pharmakia," is the Greek word here. The translation says sorcery, but pharmakia. Doesn't that make sense now? With everything that you see as we sit here at the end of the age of man. Shalom.